Hello and welcome to my kitchen here at Trails Inn 62. Time for a little bit more canning, and today I'm going to be doing Mandarin oranges, tangerines, Clementine oranges, the small oranges, you know, that peel easy. They say you can do the other oranges. They say you can do limes, lemons, any citrus, you can can them this way. But we're going to do the small oranges because they're easy to peel, they're easy to work with, and I like to eat them from time to time. Now I'm going to start out with about 4 pounds of the tangerines, Clementine, Mandarin oranges. I'm going to start with about 4 pounds of oranges. Yes, there was 5 pounds in the bag, but somebody ate some of them. So I've got 4 pounds left, and I'm going to start with those. Now, when you do these, you peel them, and I'm not going to show you the process of peeling them because nobody wants to see that. You peel them, you segment them up. And what I've done is I've peeled these and I segmented them. I put them in 2 different bowls. The reason is because I'm using a pectin enzyme to kind of help dissolve the white stuff that's on it. You don't want that stuff that comes off the peeling and everything. You don't want that in your canning because some people say that it makes it bitter. This is my first time doing this, so just kind of going with what I studied and found out, and we'll see how it works. So I'm using the pectin enzyme rather than try to hand pull all of this off by myself. And the 4 pounds of oranges that I'm using is probably going to do about 7 to 8 half-pint jars. And that's what I'm going to put them in, little snack jars for me to use. You can put them in quart jars, you can put them in pint jars, do that either way. But I'm going to be doing these in half-pint jars. Now, I got 2 different kinds of pectin. I got a powdered pectin, which it takes about a teaspoon of pectin powder per half a gallon of water, because we're going to soak these oranges overnight. And I've already put them in it, and I soaked them overnight, 24 hours, something like that. And this is the pectin powder. It takes 1 teaspoon per half a gallon of water. The other one I got some of the liquid pectin. I'm all about easy, and it seemed to me like the liquid would be easier. It wasn't any easier. The powder mixed right up, wasn't no problem whatsoever. But I tried the liquid pectin, and I'm going to see which one does the best. This is about 15 to 18 drops per half a gallon of water. I used a half a gallon of water in each one of my bowls, a little less than half a gallon actually, but I mixed up a half a gallon batch to put in here, and well, let me show you what I've got. Now, the one in the clear bowl here is done with the powder, and the one in the cranberry bowl here is done with the liquid. Looking at them, it seems to me like the liquid has done a better job. Now I'm going to rinse these off in water and pull some of this stuff off as they rinse off in water, and go from there. Now, if you want to use the pectin, you don't have to. You can just do it by hand and pull it off. Be careful not to, break apart your segments and stuff. You don't want them broken apart. So, whichever way you want to do it, it's up to you. I've tried both these pectins. I think that'll work good for me. We'll see how they taste, see how they work out. I don't think there'll be any difference, but this is just, to me, the simplicity of it. I thought the liquid would be simpler. It wasn't. The powder mixed right up in the water with no problem whatsoever. So I'm going to rinse these off and get them ready to can, and then we're going to make some syrup. Okay, there's the one batch rinsed, cleaned off, and cleaned all the white stuff off that I could. To be honest with you, I was a little disappointed in this pectin. From what I read and understood, it was supposed to dissolve the white stuff off, where I thought I could just rinse it off and it'd be fine. No, not quite that easy. It came off easier. All that white stuff on it came off easier than without the pectin, because it's on there pretty good. But the pectin did loosen it up. I don't know. Maybe I needed a little bit more pectin in my water, or what, or maybe that's the way it works. But anyway, a little bit like deveining shrimp, but it worked out all right. And I'm going to do the second half. We'll see if the liquid pectin did any better job. All right, I've got my oranges all clean, and to be honest, the liquid pectin seemed to work a lot better for me. than the powder did. Now maybe I did something wrong with the powder. I followed the instructions that I found. There aren't any instructions on the pectin itself because it's designed for winemaking. It's not actually designed for this, but it works for this. So you can use it or not. I found the liquid worked better. Next time I do this, I might try a little bit of different ratio on the powder, see if that works out a little better. But the liquid worked out better. The stuff came off, rinsed easier. It took me about half the time to do those as it did the others. Well, actually less than half the time, because a lot of it did just actually rinse off, which was good. Now, I've got them ready to go. I'm making a syrup to put in them. You can use regular water, but I have read and what I've understood and researched, regular water kind of washes out the taste of the oranges. So you want to use a syrup, a light syrup, very light syrup, or medium syrup. You can put a heavier one, but they don't recommend. They recommend a medium, light, or very light. So I'm using a very light syrup, which is a sugar, simply a sugar-water ratio mixture together. And let me put up the chart that I use to make that syrup. Okay, so I'm making the very light mixture. Now I'm making the full 9-pint amount because it's not a lot. It's not a lot of water. I'm only doing half pints and probably only 7 or 8 of those. But it's been my experience that a lot of times when you make the liquid, the broth, or whatever you're making to go in other than just plain water, a lot of times the recipes that I've found, it seems like they're not enough. And so I have to make more. So for something like this, it's just a simple sugar water base syrup, so I make a little more, no big deal. And I'd rather have too much than not enough. Alright, so I've got that on. It's getting ready to come to a boil. And when it gets to a boil, then I will start putting the oranges in my jars. Got it all done here. It looks like I got 9 half pints. And I'm going to fill it up with the syrup to 1/2 inch from the top. Make sure everything's covered. My syrup boiled, and we're going to fill it up one 1/2 inch from the top. Then we will debubble it. Wipe our rims and put it in our canners. Our canner. Now, we will be water bathing these. It's a high acid content, so we can water bath it just fine. And so we're going to be water bathing them. Alright, get these filled up, debubbled, get my lids and rings on, finger tight, make sure I wipe my rims, and get them in the canner. Now I'm going to water bath these. Of course I use my Nesco, so what I'm going to do, I do it on a low pressure system, which is the same as a water bath, but it uses a low pressure instead of complete water bath. I don't have to cover everything. If you're doing a regular water bath, make sure you cover your jars by at least 2 inches of water. Do not start your timing until the water starts in a rolling boil. Then you start your time. So for 1,000 feet or under, it's going to be 10 minutes. Over 1,000 feet up to 6,000 feet, you're going to add 5 minutes, so it'll be 15 minutes. And over 6,000 feet, I think it's another 5 minutes. But I'm a little over 1,000 feet, so I'm going to be water bathing mine for 15 minutes. And I'll be using my Nesco to do that in. And we'll get these water bath, get started. See you when they're done. And there we have our 9 half pints of our Mandarin oranges, Clementine oranges, our little oranges, Tangerines. And let's just open one of those up and see how they came out. And like I said, I used a light syrup, or extra light syrup, on these so there wouldn't be too much in there. And let's just well, I have to say, those are quite good. They make a nice little snack. Again, they've been cooked, so they are not quite the texture of a fresh orange would be. But the flavor's there, the taste is there. That's a nice little snack. I might do some more of those. That's it for our little oranges. Till next time, from my house to your house, from my kitchen to your kitchen. God bless.